Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's doing fine so far. So today I'll be with you guys. And please, while I'm explaining, do not unmute yourself. After I finished, we're gonna start practicing, then you can unmute yourself. And during the session, while I'm explaining, I know you can unmute yourself, but don't do it. If I ask a question or if you had a question, please write it down in the chat, okay? Today, Mama Sasuran is not going to be with us. So any question you have, you can just write it in the chat or send it directly to me. Okay, so let's start. Today, we're going to take match index. Nested index. And then we have address and indirect. Okay. So for matching, the match function, what is it gonna give us? It's gonna give us the index of a cell. Okay. So how are we gonna use it? For example, if I want to find the index of a cell in a specific range, for example, I want to know the index of France. Okay, I'm gonna select it. Sorry, first we're gonna write match. This is our function. Then we're gonna select the cell that we want to know the range of it, or let's say the index of it. Then comma. Then I'm gonna select the range, the column, let's say. And then what do we have? We have the exact match, we have less than, and we have greater than. If I want the exact match, I'm gonna write 0, okay? And enter. So okay, so because we have so many duplicates, I think it's better for me to use another. Let me try another table actually, because I did it on this table with the morning beneficiaries. They didn't have an issue. Okay. We said we're gonna write match. And then, for example, if I am looking for the index of this Gmail, okay, then comma, we're gonna select the range. And then we said if you want the exact value, I'm gonna give it a 0. And as you see, it's gonna give me 3. So what do we mean by this 3? We said we want the index of it. So in this range, what is the number of the cell that comes? Okay, so it should be 3, as you can see, because this is the third cell among the cells that we selected. Is this clear? Lali Khan, we use 0 if you want the exact match. If I want to give me an index more than, you can see from this, okay? It says, if you want a value or an index that is less than the one I selected, I'm gonna write 1. If I want one that's greater than that, I'm gonna give it -1. But if I want the exact match, the exact index, the exact number of the cell that I am selecting, I should give it 0, okay? Okay, so far for the match, is it clear? Okay, we can try for another one. Sorry, let me just cut this. If I want to know the if I want to find match for this Gmail, okay? I'm gonna write match. I'm gonna open a bracket. I'm gonna select the cell that I want the index of, and I'm gonna select the range at which the cell is at. So this cell that I want to find its index is among these cells. So I'm gonna select the range of it. And then I'm gonna give it 0 because I want the exact match and enter. So we see I was searching for Barrier. And if I count it from here, from the selection or from the range, it should be the sixth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's why it's gonna give us 6. كاك بريار اسا واضحة تقشتي بالله. Okay, Zor Pasha. Guys, if you don't understand it, please just write it down in the chat. I can repeat it over and over until you understand. كاك برير اوي كي اما زياتر بكاري اهانين صفر كيا باشا بلام ام صفر يكو ماينزيكا عادة لكاتيكا بكاريات كبابلين دوبليكيت مان هبت بەڵام ئەوەی کە ئێمە زیاتر بەکاری هێنین ئەگزاکت ماچەکەیە لەبەرەوە زۆربەی کاتەکان لاچێت و پێویست کە سفرەکە دانێ وەکو ئەبینی هەر لە شوێنی ئەم سفرە ئەتوانی یا یەک دانەی یا ماینەس یەک دانەی بەڵام سفرەکە عادەتەن بەکارێنین چونکە ئێمە دایم بدۆ ئەگزاکت ماچ ئەگەڕین. Okay, so guys, we mostly use the 0 because we're mostly searching for the exact match, but sometimes you can use -1 or 1. You will write it in the place of the 0 that I have written now, okay? But mostly we use 0. These 1 and -1, they might come handy when we have duplicated values. Okay, let's come to index. Okay, so for the index, for example, I'm gonna give a range and then I'm gonna give the row of the number of the row and number of the column if I want to know the data inside a cell, okay? So for the match, it's gonna give me where the cell is at. But for the index, it's gonna give me the data inside the cell. For example, in the match, I was searching for a stair, and it gave me the number of its index. But if I want to use the index function for it, it should give me a stair.us21. Like it will give me the whole data inside the cell, like the email. Okay, so how are we gonna use index? We're gonna write index. Okay, it says the array. So for example, if I have this table, I'm gonna select the whole table. Okay, then comma. Now I'm gonna give the row number and the column number. If I'm looking for a stair, if I want in this cell, I wanted to write for me the same data inside this cell, what should I do? First, I will have to give the row number. So in this selected area, in this selected range, stair is which column? Sorry, which row? What is the number of the row for a stair for this Gmail? Can someone tell me? Number of its row? Very good. Very good, Kaksalim. Very good, Fennec. The number of the row is 4. What about the number of column? Okay, I know it's A, but it's asking for column number. Yes, Kaksharzad, very good. Yes, guys, very good. It's 1. A stands for 1. B is row number 2. And it's not always related to this. For example, if I were to select the range from B, so this time the column would be, B column would be number 1. Okay, it depends on my range. So now I'm going to select 1 and enter. Now you can see it's going to give me what the data inside of the cell that I was looking for, or I gave the index of it. Okay, we can try it for another one. For example, if I wanted here to write me koshish, or maybe not that, maybe let's select another one. For example, this. this number, okay? How am I gonna write it? I'm gonna write index, okay? We said this 3. So first thing, I'm gonna select my range. If I'm going to select the whole table again, now, what is the number of row for this cell? Very good. 8, Lali Khan. So we know that the number of the row for this cell is 8. Why? Because if you come here, it is 8. And not only that, because we selected the whole table, so the whole table starts from 1. So for the number 3, we know that the number of the row is 8. Okay, 8. And what about the number of column for this range and for this cell? Very good, 4. It's in D, so it's 4. Yes, very good, guys. So I'm going to write 4. You can see now it gave me the value of the 3 that I was putting its, let's say, address of it. Okay, now Sana تنقشم. لا لا أولين أني أول شيء قلت كوشش، بس بعدين قلت لا خل ما أخذ الإيميلات يعني مرة ثانية. قلت راح ناخذ هاي السيل، هاي 3. فأني دخلت رو تيبل نمبر اوف رو مالته، رقم الرو اللي هو شنو 8، ورقم الكولوم اللي هو دي، فبالرقم يصير 4. أم سانا أنا أمانة همي بويك يقدانا أبي باشا تنها بويك سل أطواني مبكي عادة أمانيكا إتساي خوانين بو تسالكي specific دياري كراو أبد باشا. Okay, now we're gonna talk about nested index. So we can do what? We can use index with match, okay? Let me write here. Let me remove this range of table. And then we have row number. And then we have column number. Okay. And for the match, we had, let me write this as well. We had one specific cell. And then we had okay. Kak Salman, of course. Um, الامتحان لك كان برسالة زور واضحة بي لبرو خمي أوتان به باشا وانو من الامتحان بيو أوتري إندكسي قلتين بو بدوزرو يا بابلين بكاري بيني على شويني كابون بنوسا أوكي let's see. So for nested, I just wrote what we use for index and match over here, okay? But now if I want to use, sorry, Kak Salman, I've just seen your comment. Of course, I can repeat it. So for index, what do we do? First of all, I'm gonna repeat for the three again, okay? I'm gonna write index, and then I said if I'm looking for the index of the cell, I want this three to be written over here using function of index. Okay, so first I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna select my table. Okay. Now that my table is selected, I'm gonna give the number of the row and the number of the column for this cell according to my table. Okay, so in this table that we have, number 3 is at which column, at which row? For example, if I look at it, it is in row what? I can this is my table. I can just from here even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, at what column it is inside this table, I can count from here. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 from left. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna write the column number 4 and then enter, and it should give me 3. Lali Khan, no, this is not VLOOKUP. This is not lookup, guys. Okay. Let's see. For no. So guys, Lali Khan says it kind of looks like VLOOKUP. Maybe yes, maybe no, because for VLOOKUP, for example, we give a cell. For example, I give it the address of this cell, and I want to know, according to this cell, for example, if I want to know the score of this person, I will give it the address of this, and it will give me the score of it. Okay. I hope, Kak Salman, I hope it's clear for you. Now let's come to nested index. So for nested index, what am I going to do? I'm going to use both index and match in the same function, okay? First, I start with index. And I wrote the functions over here so they can make sense to you now that I use it. What am I going to do? I'm going to, again, select the range, just like how in index we have the range of the table. I'm going to select the range of the table again. Okay. Because of this chart, I can see. Okay. Now that I selected the table, now in normal index, we will give it the column number, the row number and the column number. But now I'm not going to use that. Instead of that, I'm going to give it what? The function of match. Okay. I'm going to write match. Then I'm going to use the function of match, just like any other thing. For example, if I'm looking for this 3, okay, and then we said in match first we're going to select the cell, and then I'm going to select the range of it. And we said we have a 0 over here because we want the exact match. Okay, okay. What did we forget? Let's try A2. And let's try D2. 58. Okay, let me try instead of this match, this one. Let's try something else. It's giving me error, but it shouldn't. For example, if I am looking for this stair again, index, we said in index, we're gonna select the table. If I'm selecting from here, and then okay, this is strange. كاك بريرنا ما تشكش يكساني نايلة ناوا. And Fennec, look for let's try this. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't need this. No. So the thing is, the idea behind the nested index is that instead of using the column and row number, you're going to use the match. Do you understand? But we did it this morning, but I don't know why it's not working with me right now. But it's fine. We will leave it for the end until I know what's going on. کاک بڕیار من ئەسە دووبارەم کردەوە بەڵام نەیکات لەبەرەوەی خۆی هەموو فکرەکە لەوەیە لە باتی ڕۆ و کۆڵم نمبەرەکە بەکاربێنی. Okay, I get what you mean. Index لە باتی کۆڵم نمبەرەکە بنووسیت ئەلەوی ئاماچەکە بەکای من ڕۆ نمبەرەکەم بیرچوو بنووسم. Index if I'm looking for a stair, okay, I'm gonna give it the row number, which is according to this table is 3. Yes, and then we're gonna use match. Okay. Okay, guys, so the issue is for the nested index, you're not supposed to select the whole table. You're supposed to select only one column, okay? So what do we do? First, we're gonna write index, and then, for example, I'm looking for a stair. So just like how we use for match one column, here we're gonna use index again for one column. We're gonna select from here, for example, from the first email until the end. And then instead of the number of the row and the column, we're gonna write match, okay? And then for the match, again, just like how we used it before, we're gonna select the first cell that I'm looking for, and then the whole range of it. We can try it for something else. For example, if I'm looking for, let's say I'm again looking for this number 3, okay? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna select only this column. This was the column. Yes, the column that we want to find the or get the information from. Then we're gonna say match. We're not gonna give row number or column number, okay? For example, we said we want 3. I'm gonna select the number or the cell, let's say, and again, I'm gonna select the same range. And I'm gonna give it 0 because I want the exact match and double bracket. It should give me 3. فين قبله لم نسد اندكسشا يعني تنها اندكسا كماناته بلام چۆنا وەکو ئاسانکارێکە لەباتی تۆ دانیشی ڕۆ نمبەر و کۆڵم نمبەری بیتێ لەباتی ئەو بەشە ئێمە ڕێک فانکشنی ماچەکەی بۆ نووسین. Okay, so guys, this is like if you want to make things shorter for you, if you don't want to count row number and column number, you can use, instead of writing column number and row number in index, you can use match function. Is it clear? کاک بڕیار لەبەرەوەی من خۆم ویستم یەکەم دانا ئەم ئیمێڵم بۆ بێنێ ئەمەیان ویستم ژمارە سەیەکەم بۆ بێنێ ئەم ژمارە سەیە ئەتوانم دووبارەی کەمەوە. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it, guys. I can repeat it in both Arabic and in Kurdish. I don't mind. Okay. بۆکووتمان نەسر ئیندێکسەکە بۆ چییە؟ ئەگەر تۆ بتەوێت ئیندێکسی با بڵێن سەڵک بدۆزیتەوە بەڵام نەتەوێت ژمارەی کۆڵۆم و ڕۆکە بنووسی باشە؟ ئەتوانی لەباتی ژمارەی کۆڵۆم و ڕۆکە تۆ فانکشنی ماچ بەکاربێنی. لەوە چێشتەکانە بۆ ئاسانترکە دانانیشی ساعتێ ژمارەی کۆڵۆم و ژمارەی ڕۆکان بژمێری بەدەست. ئەو کاتە چیەکەی یەکسەر ئەڵێ ئیندێکس با بڵێن بەزە حاڵەتەیە کە تۆ فانکشنی ماچە بەکارهێنا ئەبێت تەنها بۆ ئیندێکسەکە یەک کۆڵۆم هەڵبژێر یەک کۆڵۆم سەلەکەی نەکۆکو ئەم ئیندێکس ساعتیادێکە هەموو تیبڵەکەمان سەلەکتە کرد باشە؟ اوكي جماعة هاي الاندكس هاي nested index اللي نستخدم بيها function index وما همينة هو على مود يعني نخلي الفانكشن اسهل لنا. يعني انتم تعرفون كان بالاندكس كان لازم نعد يا كولوم كان بي السيل مالتنا ويا رو كان بي كل دقيقة لازم نعد. بس بهاي الاندكس اللي اني راح يعني النسد اندكس اللي اني هسه راح اشوفكم ما راح تسوون هيك يعني بس تختارون كولوم واحد وهاي هي الفرق بيناتهم. بالاندكس عادي راح تسوون سيلكت للتيبل كله بس اللي انت نستد اندكس بس تختارون الكولوم اللي اكو بيها سيل اللي انا اريد اجيب المعلومات من عنده. ف اول شيء لازم تختارون الرينج وبعدين بدال انه تكتبون رو نمبر وكولوم نمبر بدال انه تعدون راح تستخدمون فانكشن مال ماتش. تمام اوكي وثمان بونمونا إذا أنا أدور على هاي الرقم 3 أجر من بدو أم رقم ساب قرم إنك بدو أبقرم بابلي معلوماتك كيم أبيل لم خانة بون بنوسه مو أنا أدور على هاي 3 إذا أنا أريد هاي 3 المعلومات اللي داخل بهاي السيل أنا أريد ينكتب هنا بطريقة إندكس. أوكي شيء كم أتشم كم جار أم كولوما هلا بجارم رينجكي. أول شيء أنا أروح وأختار الرينج مال هاي الكولوم بعدين اكتب ماتش. تمام دوای ئەوە ئەنووسم ماتش و کەوانەی ترە کەمەوە ناو هسه شو نسوي هسه نفس الطريقة من الماتش احنا من غيرها نسوي نفس الشيء بەڵام بۆ ماچەکە هیچ ناگۆڕین هەمان شتی پێشۆکەینەوە ئەچم یەکەم جار ئەو خانەی کە من ئەمە معلوماتی بێنم دیاری یەکەم. أول شيء أنا أحدد السيل اللي أنا أريد أجيب المعلومات من عنده بعدين اختار الرينج مالته دوای ئەوە رينجەکەی هەڵبژێرم باشە دوای ئەوە صفري ئێمە لەبەرەوەی exact matchمان ئەوێ بعدين أنا راح نطي صفر لأن أنا أريد exact match فراح يجيب لي شنو يجيب لي 3 لەبەرەوە چیم بۆ هێنە سەیەکەم بۆ هێنە باشە بۆ ئیندێکسەکەی شو بۆ نەس ئیندێکسەکە هەر بە فانکشنی ئیندێکس دۆزرێتەوە بالضبط. Yes, guys. So you can see nested index. You might have less mistakes because you don't have to count how many rows and how many columns you have. You're just gonna use the match function. Okay, now that we have done that, we have another function. I'm gonna hide these. Okay, now we have address. And we have indirect function. Okay, for address, if I want to know, you can see we have this name box. This name box gives you what? It gives you the address of the cell. Okay. So if I want to know the address for example, let's say if I want to know the address of Briar's Gmail, if I want to know the address of it, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna write address. And you can see it says row number and column number. So for Briar, in this sheet, Briar, the column number, the row number is what? What is the row number for this Gmail for Briar? Yes, very good. It's 7. What about the column number? Very good. So you can see it gives us what? It gives us the address. If I go on Briar's Gmail, if I click, you can see in the name box, it will give me the same address, A7. But we have these dollar signs, which is totally fine. We, even in functions, sometimes you need to write the dollar signs. So this is the address. I think it's really easy. Let's find something else. If I want the address for, okay, so we've been doing for the 3 a lot. Let's do it the same again for this cell, for this number 3. What is the row number? Very good, it's 8. What about the column number? Okay, very, very good. So now it will give me what? It will give me D8. And I'm gonna go click on it, and I can see from the name box it's D8, which is true. So for the indirect, okay, so what is the relation between address and indirect? Indirect is if I want to know, for example, what is written inside this cell, I can say, if I want the data inside of this address to show in this cell that I have right now, I'm gonna say indirect. Okay, and I'm gonna select this cell. We knew that this was the Gmail for Buryar, right? So it will give me what? It will give me the Gmail or the data inside this cell, which is this one. Okay, let's try it for this one. If I put this inside in indirect, it should give me what? It should give me the 3 because this was written inside this address. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it for this cell. Okay, I'm just gonna write equal to indirect, and I'm gonna give it the address. This was the address, and we know for D8, if I come on D8, this is D, and this is row 8. We have the 3. So it should write for me 3, okay? I'm gonna select the address and enter. Is it clear? Okay, very good. Does anyone have any question about what we took today so far? They might be a bit confusing, they might need a bit of practicing, but you will get used to it. بالك أكبر يا كاك بريار إيميلي أو كسنية إيميل أو كسية نا من خوم يعني وتم تشومبلي عشوائي أو رقم هالبجار وتم بون منا أجر ما يبزام أدرسي أمتشيا أنوسين يكسانا بأدرسو رو نمبر و كولوم نمبري أم خاني إيمه جوتم ئەگەر من بزانم ئەگەر با بڵێن ئەدرسی خانەیەکەم هەبوو ئەگەر مێ بزانم لە ناو خانەکە چی نووسراوە ئیندێرک بەکارێنم بزەبت یان لەوانێت تۆ ئەدرسەکە و پێدرابێ ئەتوانی یەکسەر چی بکەی ئەتوانی یەکسەر بیدۆزی تۆ بزانی چ دەیتایەک لەناو ئەو خانەیە هەیە So you should find through the address, then you can use the indirect, okay? Otherwise, it will not give you.